Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's kick things off with a spicy tale from a day at the amusement park. OP, equipped with ginger candy to combat motion sickness, ends up sharing a piece with a demanding child thanks to his pushy mom. The twist? The kid didn't realize ginger candy isn't your average treat. Cue screaming, chaos, and some well-deserved karma for everyone involved. Stick around for this one, it's as sweet as it is fiery. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. A spicy lesson in manners at the amusement park. Since there's only a week left of summer, I decided to take the kids to the local amusement/water park today. As I've gotten older, the rides have gotten a little tougher on me. In addition, my daughter tends to get motion sick rather easily. I don't like the way motion sickness pills make me feel, so I always take a Ziploc baggie full of ginger candy along to prevent and soothe nausea. Today I had chewy mango ginger candies, hard plain ginger candies, and hard lemon ginger candies. For those who've never had ginger candy, it is spicy. The lemon ginger's probably the mildest, the plain ginger's just plain hot, the mango ginger are sweet and spicy, but they also stick to your teeth like crazy. They're definitely an acquired taste. As we're standing in line for the log ride, I pull out my baggie. I choose a lemon one, as does my son, 13. My daughter, 12, asks for a mango one. While I'm fishing a mango one out, I hear the kid in front of us tell his mom that he, around 7-ish, wants some candy. His mom distractedly says she doesn't have any candy. The boy says, but she does. He turns to me and asks for one. I tell him I don't really think he'd like my candy. By this time, his mom is focused in on the interaction. As the kid starts to whine that, of course, he'd like my candy, his mom just huffs and says, "You got a whole baggie. Can't you just give him one? Come on, don't be greedy." "Oh, you said the magic word there, lady." I say, "All right," and dig out a lemon one. I'm not completely heartless. That's when the kid whines that he wants mango. Mango's his favorite. I tell him lemon is better, but he insists on mango. I tell him it's kinda sticky as I hand it over. The kid rips it open, shoves it in his mouth, gets in 3 quick chews while my kids stare at him. Then he actually starts to taste it, and a look of horror comes over his face. He screams and tries to spit it out. He's jumping around and flapping his arms. His mom's panicking and asking what's wrong. He's screaming that it's bad and it's hot and he wants it out. His mom tells him to spit it out. That's when I pipe up with the very helpful, "It's really sticky." What's left is probably stuck in his teeth. He'll have to wait for it to melt off if he doesn't want to chew. The mom looks at me in disbelief and a shrug. Then she asks what in the hell I gave her son. "Probably should have asked that sooner, lady." I answer, "Ginger candy. It's good for nausea." I'm pretty sure I'd be dead if looks really could kill. We got to move up in line 2 spaces, though, because she whisked her kid off to a water fountain. I'd like to think the kid'll think twice about demanding things from strangers. Plus, it was entertaining. Overall, the kids and I counted it as a win. Ginger candy's no joke, especially the mango ones that practically superglue themselves to your teeth. The way you calmly explained his predicament to the mom was the chef's kiss of the whole interaction. The kid's reaction was the cherry on top, and the fact that they actually left the line gave you an unexpected upgrade. Free amusement park fast pass courtesy of Ginger Spice. Hopefully the kid and his mom learned a valuable lesson that not all candy's worth fighting for, and sometimes listening to polite refusals is the real win. A+ parenting moment and peak entertainment for your day out. And our second story. So, you want to be informed after every customer transaction? Bet. I'm pretty sure that if I asked for a show of hands, how many of y'all had that one manager or boss that was the worst at micromanaging, roughly 80 to 85% of you guys would raise your hand. Anywho, a few years back, I used to work retail at a brick-and-mortar shop owned by a guy that, well, let's just say that if we left him alone, the place would fall apart within minutes. There was myself, 2 other associates, and 2 assistant managers, one of whom bought the business out, turned it into an online shop, and is doing pretty well for himself. But I digress. Said owner had no clue how our inventory system worked, let alone our POS system. Tack easy? Nightmare, I know, but absolutely insisted that he knew everything about the place inside and out and threatened you with unemployment whenever things didn't go his way. One day I called his bluff and walked. Not 30 minutes later, while I was sitting in a nearby park, did he call me begging for me to come back. Squeezed a sizable raise out of him in the process. Now, all of that to this, the meat of this little bit of malicious compliance. Said know-it-all owner was so convinced of his hype that he insisted/demanded that we call him after every customer transaction, go over what was said so he could tell us what we were wrong. Even after selling and setting up a delivery account. Mind you, this is in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, where it's busy for roughly 5 out of the 8 hours during any given shift. Despite a line of customers at my register, I had to stop things, pick up the phone, and make the call, all while my line of customers, in what would be typical New York levels of patience, would drop their stuff and walk out. The ones that stuck around waited the 5, maybe 10 minutes each phone call. It got so bad at one point, one of my regulars, whom everyone knows to at least the second degree, points if you could guess who, grabbed the receiver and proceeded to lay into know-it-all owner about how he's losing business because of his asinine policy. Owner dug in his heels, though, bless his heart, and insisted that things be done his way. All right, bet. I tried to keep the convo's receiver only. Now it's been upgraded to speakerphone. Now everyone in the store, and I do mean everyone, can hear how much of a colossal douche he was. Business that was once about $5K a day and store sales dropped to just north of $1.5K, while deliveries, while at about $6K a day, dropped to roughly half that. With online reviews being the most hilarious I've read since I started working retail/customer service decades ago, know-it-all owner was forced to give up on his policy, eventually announcing his retirement a few months later and selling to the assistant manager I mentioned earlier. It's something we still joke about years later in our occasional catching up sessions. Me, hey, remember that time know-it-all demanded us that we call him after every transaction? AM, yeah, I laughed in his face about it. He didn't like me much after. What's most satisfying here is the poetic justice of it all. His policies backfired, his retirement was expedited, and someone competent took over and turned things around. You even got a raise out of him after calling his bluff. That's like hitting a trifecta of workplace wins. Props to you and your team for surviving the nonsense and coming out on top. And those jokes during catch-up sessions? Absolutely earned. Some stories deserve to live on as legendary cautionary tales. And our last story. Karen's Solar Showdown, when entitlement reached new heights. Working in the solar industry, I'm used to occasional frustrations on the job, but nothing prepared me for what happened during a recent installation in an upscale neighborhood. My team and I were setting up a solar system at a client's home. It was a big project, 40-plus panels, and we had to establish a safety zone around the site with red tape to keep people away. It's a standard precaution since tools, equipment, or even the panels themselves can accidentally fall. Most people respect the rules, but not everyone. While I was working on the electrical setup, I noticed a young boy, maybe 7 or 8, dart past the red tape and head straight for one of our ladders. I ran over and gently told him, "Hey buddy, you can't play here. This is a work zone and it's dangerous." That's when she appeared, Karen, in all her tangerine spray-tanned glory. Karen, "Don't talk to my son like that. He just wants to play with your tools." Me, "Ma'am, this is an active work site. It's not safe for him. And I can't allow anyone past the red tape." Karen, "Oh, he'll be fine. Just tell your workers to stop dropping stuff." Me, in disbelief, "Ma'am, accidents happen. That's why the tape is there, for your safety. Please take your son and leave." Karen, "We're friends with the homeowners, so we have every right to be here. You should learn to treat potential customers better." Me, "Ma'am, until I see your name on a work order, how I speak to you is not a concern. Please leave the work site immediately." She huffed, grabbed her son, and stormed off, tearing down part of our red tape as she went. I took a breather, lit a cigarette, and thought, this is going to be a long day. Later, as we were finishing the electrical setup, I heard one of my guys shout from the roof, "Hey, what are you doing?" My heart sank. I turned around to see a teenager, Karen's older son, running down the road with one of our solar panels. I sprinted after him and managed to catch up, grabbing the panel to stop him. Instead of letting go, this kid fought back. He tossed the panel, knocking me off balance, and then punched me in the chest. It wasn't a light punch either. It knocked the wind out of me. Switching to self-defense mode, I pinned him to the ground without hitting back. I didn't want to escalate things further or risk trouble for striking a minor. Just as I had him restrained, Karen came flying out of her house, shrieking like a banshee. Karen, get your hands off my baby! You're assaulting him! Me, your son was stealing a solar panel and attacked me. I had to defend myself. Karen, I told him to grab the panel. My neighbor said I could take one to try it out. Her excuse was so ridiculous. I almost laughed, but I was too winded to respond. My coworkers arrived and called the cops while keeping Karen away from me. She kept ranting about suing us, claiming we were all going to lose our jobs. When the cops arrived about 10 minutes later, they separated everyone to take statements. Karen insisted that the homeowner had told her she could borrow a solar panel to see if she liked it. Of course, that wasn't true, and even if it were, the panels still belonged to the company until fully paid for. Fortunately, the homeowner had security cameras which captured the entire incident, including her son stealing the panel and punching me. When the police asked if I wanted to press charges for assault, I didn't hesitate. Karen's tirade continued as they placed her son in cuffs, but I was done listening. I'm not sure when the court proceedings will take place, but I've handed everything over to my company's legal team. All I want is for this to be over so I can go back to doing my job, without entitled parents thinking they can take whatever they want. Karen and her mini-me were a stark reminder that no matter how ridiculous the internet makes these stories seem, they're real, and they're just as insane in person. Your calm response, especially when dealing with their son's assault, is seriously commendable. Many would have lost their cool, but you stayed professional despite the absurdity. And Karen's excuse, borrow a solar panel to try it out? That's next level delusion, as if solar panels are snacks at Costco. Kudos to you for pressing charges and getting the cops involved. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.